And hello, what's up everyone? This is a very unique video. I am celebrating for the first time since 2003. For the first time in 17 years, my favorite team in auto sports is finally back in the playoffs. The Miami Marlins are in the 2020 Major League Baseball playoffs. I still can't believe I'm saying that. I've been in such joy and bliss the past couple of days. And my main motivation for this video is to, of course, celebrate with you guys. Our Major League Baseball team, your team, my team of Miami for Major League Baseball is finally back in the playoffs to celebrate. But also, my second motivation for this video, and maybe my more important motivation, is that maybe there's some of you out there who, quite frankly, don't really watch baseball that much, or not even into sports that much, or you prefer basketball. By the way, congrats to the Miami Heat. Congratulations to the Miami Heat on going to NBA Finals. That's huge. But this video is about the Marlins, about baseball. As you can see, I'm the biggest Marlins fan, and I'm very happy about finally going to the playoffs. But anyway, my main motivation for this video is just in case there's people out there who want to support, but maybe you don't watch baseball that much, or you don't understand how the playoffs work, the format, the schedule, the time. I'm going to explain that. Let me be your unofficial guide to the 2020 Major League Baseball playoffs. And there's a lot to get into because, well, I'm going to try to keep it simple, but there is a lot to get into because this is very unique and different, much different 2020 season compared to all the other seasons. COVID, of course, is a main factor. And there were 60 Major League Baseball regular season games instead of the usual 162 game schedule. But you know what? Despite all the circumstances and all the weird new reality, all the Major League Baseball games this season were without fans in the stands, and the players went through a lot. So whoever wins this championship, this 2020 World Series championship, really did earn it because this was very complicated, very tough season to navigate through with everything happening, the pandemic. But let's focus on the Miami Marlins. In case you're wondering, and I know you guys are interested in this, I'm here to help you out. We are playing in the first round of the playoffs, the Chicago Cubs. And you probably hear that franchise and you think that's familiar, right? Well, if you remember, in 2003, and the last time the Marlins won the World Series, before getting to the World Series, they had to play the National League Championship Series, and they won a thrilling, nail-biting, miraculous game of best-of-7 series against the Chicago Cubs, and we eliminated the Chicago Cubs and went to the World Series and beat the New York Yankees and won our second World Championship. So very interesting how things work, that we're back in the playoffs. And you know what, congrats to the Cubs. They've had a very good team the past 5 years. They won their World Series championship the first time in 100+ years back in 2016. Congrats. But I'm sorry, Cubs, we still own you. We still own the Cubs. Until you beat us in the playoffs and get your revenge, we are still in charge of this, I guess, mini rivalry. And I believe we're going to beat the Cubs. Now, I don't know how far my team is going to go, but I believe we will win the first round and, at least for now, eliminate Chicago Cubs. Now, the first round of playoffs, when does that begin? Well, today, Tuesday, September 29, the baseball playoffs begin. But remember that, in case you didn't know, Major League Baseball has two leagues, the American League and the National League. The Miami Marlins, we are in the National League. Today's Tuesday, September 29, is gonna be the game 1 for only the American League matchups. Tomorrow, it's gonna be game 1 for the National League first round matchups plus the game 2 of the American League. So we're playing tomorrow. The Marlins' first playoff game is tomorrow, Wednesday, September 30th, against the Chicago Cubs. And other things I want to just explain, like I said, this was a very unique baseball season. Props to Major League Baseball. 60 games instead of 162 games. And the playoffs got expanded. Back in 2012, each league, remember there's 2 leagues, back in 2012, each league added an extra playoff team. Now, we have 3 more teams. So we went from having 10 teams going to the playoffs, and now in 2020, for this unique season, we have 3 extra teams, a total of 8 teams in each league that went to the playoffs, and 16 teams in total that went to the playoffs this year. And we don't know what's going to happen next year, if they're going to keep the same format. 2021, God willing, things will be back to normal with how they're going to schedule the seasons, but we'll see what happens. For now, we're in. And I guess it's pretty easy for people to kind of have skepticism of, well, it was easy. It was only 60 games. If it was 162 games, the Marlins, this team in particular, probably wouldn't make the playoffs. They probably would still finish. They'll probably miss out most likely, and and not do that good, or be good for a while and show flashes of promises, but end up missing the playoffs. Whatever. We cannot live in that reality. The actual reality, or that fantasy, the actual reality is that we're in. The Marlins are in the playoffs, and they took advantage. This was a very difficult season. Let's not forget that my team dealt with half the team catching the virus. You can criticize the players all you want. You can make fun of them for not obeying and almost jeopardizing the season, not just for themselves, but for all of Major League Baseball. Laugh all you want. We got it done. Props to our manager, Don Manley. Props to our coaching staff and everyone that works with the teams, all the staff personnel, the trainers, the travel coordinators, the players, their families had to deal with this very unique season and being away from their families, having to stay in the hotel, quarantine. And we had to deal, the Marlins had to deal with this breakout of the virus throughout the team and having to cancel a bunch of games, make up for a lot of games. We made the playoffs. We clinched the playoff spot this past Friday when we beat the Yankees on September 25th. And that was, I believe, our 28th game in 21 days. That's crazy. We had to play so many double headers to make up for the lost games from the time that we were out for about a week and a half from playing. And our team personnel, like I said, had to navigate through that and find replacement players. So even when we began playing again, the players who tested positive were not able to play again until they tested negative, I believe twice. So they had to find bench players to replace them, and it was just a nightmare, but we got it done. And here we are. Our first game will be tomorrow, Wednesday, September 30th against the Chicago Cubs. The first round is going to be a best of 3. So whoever wins 2 games first moves on to the second round. If we end up winning 1 game, the Cubs win 1 game. If we end up with a tie, then there will be a game 3, and that game 3, if necessary, will be on Friday, October 2nd. So that'll be very interesting to see an elimination game, all the chips on the table. But you know what? I believe that maybe we won't have to deal with that. Maybe we'll just win, boom, in 2 games and move on to the next round. So there are 4 rounds, by the way, in case you didn't know. The first round is a best of 3, and all 3 games, including that 3rd game if necessary, all 3 games will take place in the ballpark of the team with a higher record. So all of our games in this first round will be in Chicago and at Wrigley Field where the Cubs play, but there's not gonna be any fans in the stand. In the second round, the second round is a best of 5. Whoever wins 3 out of 5. And that's going to take place in 2 particular cities designated, which is, I believe, Los Angeles and San Diego, or I think Houston, if I'm mistaken. The third round, that's when it's only 4 teams left, 2 teams in each league. The third round is, they call it the League Championship Series, and that is a best of 7, and that's going to take place in only these 2 or 3 locations. And then the World Series, the 4th round, is the World Series. The best team from the National League versus the best team in the American League. Maybe that'll be us. Maybe we'll go to the World Series, and that's gonna be a best of 7, and they all take place in the brand new ballpark in Texas, in Arlington, Texas. So we have a long way to go. Can we do it? I think we can. I mean, you gotta be optimistic. Look, the Marlins, even though we have a 27-year history already of our franchise, that could be a little bit frustrating. Only 2 playoff appearances in our 27-year existence. But it never gets old. It never gets old, the fact that we are the only professional sports team that can boast about every time we go to playoffs, we win the whole championship. Sure, it's only been twice, but hey, we're in, we win the whole thing. And look, this season we are in. So let me just do a breakdown once again. The playoffs begin today, but the National League teams, including us, the Marlins, we will play our first playoff game tomorrow, Wednesday, and that's gonna be against the Chicago Cubs. This first round is a best of 3. If we move on, if we eliminate them, then the second round is a best of 5, which at that point it will be 4 teams in each league, 8 teams in total. And then after that, it's a League Championship Series, which will be 4 teams in total, 2 teams in each league. And then the Fall Classic, the World Series best of 7. Our game tomorrow is at 2 p.m. Our first game tomorrow is at 2 p.m. and it's on the channel ABC. If I'm not mistaken, all the games in this first round for us, the Marlins, will be on the channel ABC, but that's gonna be tomorrow. And another thing very important to note is you probably wonder, okay, I don't know these players, the Marlins, they're always doing bad. I don't like watching them, they're always losing. Now we're in the playoffs, but a couple of key players are our best players to root for. I would start with Brian Anderson. He plays third base and sometimes plays the outfield. Brian Anderson, really laid back, quiet leader type of guy. Hits home runs, more of a contact guy, but does hit home runs every now and then. Has an amazing glove, plays good defense, good leadership skills. Still very young. I think he's only his third season. Brian Anderson, really easy guy to cheer for. We also have Monte Harrison. I love that guy. He is this big guy. He's like a football player. He's a rookie actually. And in a regular 162 game season, I was super excited to see what he was gonna do in this short season, which still counts, but in this short season, he took advantage of playing time. He didn't do as good as I wanted to, but Monte Harrison, he has a lot of power and he could hit a lot of home runs. Jorge Alfaro, one of the team leaders, he plays catcher. Just always full of energy. He is just someone they look up to a lot in the clubhouse. He plays hard, really grinds it out, plays really good defense. We also have Jesus Aguilar. He plays first base and also plays DH. And he's one of the leaders. He actually is one of our few players that has playoff experience in this young team. He's one of the few players that even has at least 5 seasons of playing in Major League Baseball. We're a very young team, but we're a young team that was ready for this, was made for this. We have been developing in our minor league system and getting these guys ready, and it took advantage. We've had so many roster changes. It was just, I'm sure it was a headache for our front office personnel and our manager Don Manley. But to navigate through the season and these hard times, and I think Don Manley should win Manager of the Year for sure. Another player worth noting is Starling Marte. Starling Marte is an all-star player. He is an amazing outfielder, hits home runs, hits for average, and he has been with the Marlins for just this season only. We got him in a big trade, and that showed right there that we're going for it. We were definitely going for it. We got him at the trade deadline. He's been an all-star player with the Pirates, with the Diamondbacks, and he's one of our few players that has more than 5 years experience because our team is so young. But he definitely is someone that can be a factor. Let's go now to our pitch. Actually, no, let me first mention Jazz Chisholm. Jazz Chisholm plays shortstop, has an amazing glove, starting to really come around with his bat, and he's really young. Him, Monte Harrison, they are really young. They don't have that much experience in Major League Baseball. This was their first season, but they took advantage of the opportunity and they played a big role. They played a big role in making sure that we get to playoffs, and this is such a team. Our Miami Marlins team, just to make it clear, yes, we don't have the biggest stars, but you know what? Once you're in the playoffs, what matters is who wants it more. It's all about team chemistry. It's all about who plays the hardest and plays the smartest in this short span. In the playoffs, anything goes. Anyways, where was I? Pitching. So for our pitching staff, it's so easy to root for our pitchers because not only are they young, but they're so professional, so fiery. They play with so much guts. So we have Pablo Lopez, we have Sandy Alcantara, and we also have Sixto Sanchez. Sixto Sanchez, another rookie who's so fresh to our team and to Major League Baseball. That guy is ridiculously nasty. If he really just calms down and if he really just brings his A game, he could be an X factor. He could be a thorn to the side of the other teams because they don't know him. They haven't seen him that much at all. So we have, and maybe some of you are not familiar with baseball, but starting pitching is very key when it comes to the World Series. I mean, yes, I know we're living a time for my fellow baseball enthusiasts where we see a lot of changes in the way they approach pitching staffs. We have relief pitchers coming in the 4th inning nowadays, but at the end of the day, it's still important to have very solid starting pitching, a guy who goes deep in the game, and I think we're gonna surprise people. Again, I don't know how far we're gonna go. It's gonna be tough for us. We are very young, we are very inexperienced, and in a different season that actually was 162 games, maybe we don't even make the playoffs, but who cares? We played good. We started off pretty hot. We started the season really good, 7-1, and then from there on, we're just not great, but we're consistent. and we ended up taking advantage. We won the games that we had to win to secure that we get into the playoffs. And I'm never gonna forget that moment. This past Friday, September 25th, the way that game ended, a game that we won that took us to the playoffs. Wow, here we are. This is such a joy, and I think my team is gonna surprise people. I love the month of October. As you know, in the Catholic faith, so many amazing feast days that we celebrate, and the theme for the month of October in the church is the month of Respect Life. So be on the lookout, because for October on my Gospel of Life Instagram series, there's going to be some very interesting episodes, maybe even some risky episodes that I'm going to do for the Gospel of Life. So please keep in your prayers. Also, the month of October is the month of the Rosary. And finally, for the first time in 17 years, even though I always enjoy the playoffs watching, I'm a big baseball fan, but now I get to enjoy this October seeing my team in the playoffs. Now, I'm not going to sit here and try to make crazy predictions or do anything that will make you fall into superstition. You know, as Catholics, we do not believe in superstitions. We don't. However, we do believe in the power of prayer. And let's just say that the month of October is the month of the Rosary. My team is finally in the playoffs. And you guys know that I'm pretty devoted to the Blessed Virgin Mary. I will pray for my team. I'm not going to expect anything in return. I'm not going to do anything superstitious, but I will make specific prayers for our team. I'll be praying for the MIAMI Marlins. Please join me in spirit. Pray for the players, for their health, for them to be, I guess, spiritually protected, and for them to come together as a team and for the best, whatever God wants. But let's just say that when it comes to praying the Rosary, the Blessed Mother has a tendency of answering my prayers I request to her through the Rosary. I'm just saying, but anyway, see you guys are around. God bless you all, and go Marlins. Let's get a championship. Let's shock the world. Why not us? Why not the Marlins? Anything is possible. Let's shock the world. Let's go Marlins. Respect Miami. God bless you all. I am Freddy, and I am out.